Hi everyone and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a great day. I want to talk about one of the great qualities of the Quran, one of the main reasons why we should all believe in Islam, the scientific genius of the Quran. The Quran says in chapter 2 verse 2, "This is a book which you can interpret in any way you like, especially if you figure out that it contradicts with science." Just kidding, that's my version of the verse. Sounds better though, right? It's definitely more accurate. Let's see if it sounds good. This is a book which you... Just kidding. The actual verse says, "This is the book about which there is no doubt." The Quran claims to be completely accurate. Muslims claim that the Quran is a miracle, that it is completely scientifically accurate. The Quran makes assertions about the natural world all the time, and uses those assertions to claim that it is deeply knowledgeable and accurate and miraculous. But when we talk about the many scientific mistakes of the Quran, of which you can create hours of content, and when we ask why the Quran doesn't tell us anything new about the world which people didn't already know in the 7th century, Muslims usually come with this strange excuse and say, the Quran is not a book of science. When they say that, I just think, what are you talking about? Do you have any idea what those words that you have just spoken mean? Science just means knowledge. It means understanding, exploring, knowing something, in this case, the natural world. Science doesn't necessarily mean weird-looking nerds with glasses dressed in white, carefully handling laboratory equipment. Nothing against weird-looking nerds in laboratories. When we talk about science in the Quran, we are not talking about how you can use the Quran in a laboratory, which would be a huge failure, but rather about how the Quran describes the natural world around us. When we say the Quran makes scientific mistakes, what we say is that the Quran describes the natural world in a wrong way. And when we say the Quran doesn't tell us anything scientifically new, we mean that the Quran doesn't give us any information about the natural world that wasn't already known in the 7th century. And it should normally give us information. As explained earlier, the Quran does very often describe the world around us, or at least it tries to. It talks about the movements of the sun, the moon, night, day, the sky, lightning, rain, sperm, and much more, numerous times. And it gets very descriptive and very assertive. So the Quran does make scientific claims repeatedly, and it brags about them all the time, to prove that Allah knows everything and that He has power over everything. Because of that, it is not only our right to analyze the Quran's scientific claims, we should fact-check what the Quran says about science. And we should treat it like a book that attempts to give us information about science. The Quran itself challenges us on fact-checking it, and it has failed that challenge many times. It says, "Do they not reflect on the Quran? If it had been from any other than Allah, they would have found within it much discrepancy." Oh, we have a lot of discrepancy. I will go ahead and say, you don't have to find much discrepancy. If you find only one clear mistake in the Quran, then that means it is not from an Almighty Allah, and the Quran, and thereby Islam, is false. Because the Quran is claimed to be the direct word of Allah, the Almighty, all-knowing Creator. He cannot make a mistake if that is true. I have already made a 1-hour video listing 60 scientific mistakes in the Quran, and I could go on and list even more. I could talk about how the Quran describes all the objects in the sky the wrong way, and how it is completely ignorant on how day and night form. But today, I want to emphasize something different. I want to emphasize the lack of information in the Quran and what this means for this book. Think about the following topics: the universe, outer space, planets, our solar system, other planetary systems, the movements of the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon, the real shape of the Earth, our galaxy, other galaxies, stars, dinosaurs, gravity, the age of the Earth and the universe, or things we don't know yet, such as life on other planets, or how long the Earth will be around, because if you look at the Quran, it sounds like the world is going to end very soon. What if all these things had been described in the Quran? No, I'm not saying the Quran is wrong because it doesn't mention dinosaurs and space. But I also am kind of saying that. I am saying that the Quran is a book that makes very big claims over and over again about the natural world and how it came into existence, what happens in and around it and far above it. And it uses those claims to assert that it is knowledgeable and that it comes from the Almighty, all-knowing Allah. Yet all the knowledge that it provides sounds very primitive and largely wrong if you read the Quran without magically reinterpreting it. For example, how the moon follows the sun, or how the sky is held up, or how the stars are lights that may be thrown at devils, and that could fall down on us, or that sperm comes from between our backbones and ribs. And on top of all of this, it doesn't give us anything new, anything informative. The Quran would be miraculous or overwhelmingly convincing if it did contain things that people couldn't have known in the 7th century, especially in Arabia. If the Quran had given us knowledge about planets, space, galaxies, the vast universe, the shape of the earth, the solar system, and more, people would have been amazed by it. Yet it makes so many scientific claims and claims of knowledge, but it doesn't mention these very basic things that are right here, above us and around us, while it weirdly tries to convince us by telling that Allah sends rain down from the sky, the ceiling. If the Quran does make these claims of knowledge, then it is supposed to convince us that it is the truth and that it comes from a knowledgeable, all-knowing creator. That's what it clearly tries to say. In fact, Muslims themselves keep telling us that the Quran was so shockingly beautiful and wonderful and wise, mostly emphasized by people who haven't even read it. So shouldn't it give us revolutionary knowledge about the natural world instead of just giving us 7th century drivel? That is why Islamic societies believed in a completely wrong cosmology until the Western scientists recently proved them wrong. No thanks to the very wise Quran. I'm not expecting much, right? I'm just expecting that the Creator would tell us these basic things. Now, if the Quran had told us about planets and space and dinosaurs and all these things, would I have believed that it is indeed from an almighty Creator and that Islam is the truth? I don't know. Maybe. But one thing is for sure. The Quran would have amazed and shocked humanity and made people question how this book could have known so many things that people didn't understand, that people weren't able to understand, that we have discovered only very recently. Even if they did not believe in the Quran's divine origins, they would have at least thought that whoever wrote this, maybe Muhammad, was a genius who understood things about the world that people understood only 1,000 years later or more. Muslims could then actually say, look, the Quran contains so many things that people couldn't know back then, and that we have learned from the Quran. Yet, if you look at the Quran as it is not only very unimpressive, it is also completely ignorant and just pathetic. It's a joke that describes a sun that goes somewhere at night. It probably takes a bath and goes to a stopping point. According to Muhammad, it prostrates under the throne of Allah, and in the morning it comes back. And all you can do to make the Quran more impressive is to beautify its cover and its text, and to recite it by singing it in a very embarrassingly dramatic way. I don't even want to imitate it because it feels very embarrassing. Anyway, so yes, the Quran is definitely not a book of science, but it is a book that makes very scientific claims. And yet it is a book that is very scientifically ignorant, which is why the Quran fails science and humanity. And this failure is so important because it is the Quran itself that tries to convince us and impress us with its knowledge, but it offers nothing but ignorance. Because it was written by ignorant people in the 7th century, as more of us begin to realize. What a shame. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Most of my videos are not monetized. If you want to support what I'm doing, you can support me on Patreon or on apostateprophet.com. I will be back very soon. Until then, have a great day and stay away from Islam.